Raising women's voices, one story at a time. Welcome to the She Said Project podcast. Rise and shine. It's another great day here on the She Said Project podcast. Okay, that was the cheesiest, worst opening ever.
Too much coffee, sis.
Okay, we're in season 10. We've been doing this for a long time, a couple years. You know, we have to open every episode. I've run out of ideas.
Yeah, I feel like we're having marriage counseling. Like we gotta really stretch ourselves to find some new spark.
You know what we don't have to stretch ourselves to find? Amazing women who have shared their stories on a That's What She Said stage. Because in 2024, we've had shows in over 10 cities. Dozens of women have shared stories, and we get the opportunity here on the podcast to chat with them, talk about their experience, and share their stories with a greater audience. And so if you're listening today, welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm Jenette, Jurczyk, one of your lovely hosts. And, you know, what do I like to...
Wow, where are we going with this?
My mind went blank. I'm the national director of That's What She Said, and I was really trying to say that I love what I get to do, and I'm really grateful.
Well, I love that you do it. You do all the heavy lifting. One of the things that is so fantastic is I usually have an inkling of whatever city we're in, I have an inkling of what's coming. And our guest today was in a show that I hadn't read a single thing, hadn't seen a single thing. Sadly, I was unable to go to the show, so watching this clip today, it was the first time I'd seen it. And you had told me before you would love this person. This person says things that have come out of your mouth before.
100%.
And so your voice was in my head like, yes. I was nodding my head so hard I thought it was going to fall off my shoulders. Like, I love this woman and am her new best friend.
I knew you would. Absolutely.
She just doesn't know it yet.
She's about to. So this year we launched a new show in a new city, and it was in the city of Decatur, Illinois, but the show was That's What She Said, Macon County, because it was produced by the Community Foundation of Macon County, their very first year. I wasn't even involved in the casting. I walked into the show. They introduced me to the women that were going to be in That's What She Said, and I had the honor of directing. And one of those women who I was introduced to was none other than Linda Huck, who's on the line with us today.
What the huck?
Hi, Linda.
That is what people say quite often.
No, I'm not so original. What the heck?
It's such a great name, though. Oh, my goodness.
It really is.
Okay, so I'm going to share the day Linda and I met, the day we met in the Community Foundation offices, our very first, in-person rehearsal. And we were going around the table talking about, what's your idea and what are you thinking about and what's your story going to be? And I don't know if you remember, Linda, but you shared this. I'm going to let you say it. Do you remember how you worded it? That you were like, why was I asked to be in the show?
Yes.
What did you say after that?
I said, I'm just a mom, and I'm just a dental hygienist, and I'm just a wife. I'm nothing special.
Do you remember my reaction when you said that?
Yes.
That phrase, you got me all fired up because we hear that all the time, and you were able to articulate what so many women think when they're asked to share and when they're asked to stand in a spotlight.
And that's how many times I've said the second I hear someone say, I'm just, fill in the blank, that's it. Hell or high water, they're going to be on the stage, because something we feel really passionately about is I don't want to have a stage of professional speakers. There are plenty of opportunities to have that kind of experience. We want the people because seriously, like, who ruled the world? It's the people who are saying, I'm just a teacher. I'm just a doctor. Like, whatever it is that they're in their mind is a just. And so if we can start to shift the narrative for ourselves, the way we see ourselves, because I promise you would not say that to a girlfriend. You're just a mom. You're just a wife. So why are we saying that to ourselves?
Exactly. I mean, my kids both said, you would never say that. I have two daughters, 29 and 22, and they're like, you would never say that to us. And you would never, as you said, say that to any of your friends. And when Natalie came up to me, we were at an event, and she asked me, and I said, Natalie, I mean, there's plenty of other people in Macon County. I mean, you should ask someone else. I'm just these things. And she said, I want you. And then I saw her 2 nights later, and she goes, I'm not going away. I want you. And I said, well, okay, let me think about it, because I have terrible stage fright. So that was also part of it. And I went home and I was like, how can I tell my kids, my girls, to always go for it, to always be that person that people can say, hey, put yourself out there, and how could I not do this? And I'm so thankful many times over that I did. And I'm also a big caregiver. I mean, that's part of, my job as a hygienist. I'm a caregiver. And I just feel very strongly about that. And as the story unfolded in my head that night after I talked to Natalie, I was like, if I can just help one woman in that audience feel like she can walk away and say, you know what, you're right. I'm not just whatever that is. I'm more than that. And I should stop saying that. And I have had such an outpouring since the story. 6 months later, I just saw a lady I hadn't seen, and she said, I was there, Linda, and you're so right. We're not just moms or wives or whatever our occupation is. She said, your story touched me. And that, I just walked away that even 6 months later, I was like, oh my goodness, that is so special to me.
You gave permission to women to really own and celebrate and to sort of check ourselves on the way we think. Sometimes we have a narrative in our head that we aren't even aware of until someone heard you say the power of just, and strike that word, because the power of the ordinary is beautiful. Ask anybody at the tail end of their life, and no one, it's all those wonderful, awesome, beautiful things, or the people who orchestrated it and made it, which, it's often the moms. Those are beautiful things that have great value for generations.
Yes, and I want the future generation, my girls, and moving forward, I want people coming forward, or women coming forward, to not feel that way. I guess this is the way. We just keep saying we're not just.
There's no just about it. There it is. So
there it is.
When you laid that on the table, I'm gonna steal this phrase from Kerry because she uses it. It was like waving a red flag before a bull. I was so excited to dig into your story because it really was the epitome of what Kerry and I talk about behind the scenes all the time, what we hear from women all the time, and you literally put it out there in the exact words that we talk about, and therefore we had an opportunity to put your story in front of our audiences and showcase your journey from just to, discovering the beauty of it all. I couldn't have imagined it being more perfectly said than how you said it on stage that night. So let's take a moment and share the original performance from the stage with our listeners, and then we'll come back and check in. But Linda, I'm telling you, there is nothing just about you, and I'm so glad you shared. So here's Linda's story on stage in the very first That's What She Said, Macon County 2024. Here's her story. There's no just about it.
It was a hot day in the summer of 1985 when my life was about to change forever. I was standing out at Hickory Point Mall talking on the payphone, and in walks this handsome man, which I had dated briefly a little over a year before. He was a great guy. He was kind and respectful. He was unlike anyone I had ever dated. But I told him after 2 weeks that I couldn't see him anymore. I could tell he was someone who I could really develop feelings for, and I simply didn't want that in my life. I grew up in a middle-income family full of alcoholism and abuse. I wasn't like other kids. I didn't think about where I wanted to go to college or what I wanted to be when I grew up. Honestly, there was many days I was just trying to get from one day to the next. As I got older, I told myself 3 things. I said, I am never getting married, I'm never having any children, and I will make sure that I always have a career where I can take care of myself. Because in my eyes, if you couldn't take care of yourself, then you might have to be forced to stay in a situation that just wasn't good or healthy for you. So the handsome man comes up, he gives me a big kiss, hug. He says, wow, it's great to see you. Let's get together. As he walked away, I thought, damn it. I'm not going to be able to walk away from this great guy twice. So we started dating again. I'm working as an orthodontic assistant, and in the back of my mind, I know this is not a job where I can take care of myself if I need to. I love the dental field, so I decided to go back to school and start my career as a dental hygienist. I'm about 2 years into a 3-year program. Him and I have been dating about 4 years, roughly. And he has the audacity to ask me to marry him. Now, let me just say that we've been married for almost 34 years. He's sitting right over here. That is a feat, absolutely. This year. He's sitting right up front here. I don't even have to be able to see him to know he is thinking, I cannot believe she just told that story like that. So let me be completely honest and tell you how it really went down. He was everything I had feared he would be. He was loving. He was supportive of me always. He got along great with my sometimes or oftentimes crazy family. By the time he proposed, I was so ready and excited to marry him and start our life together. He took that ring out of his pocket. I yanked it out of his hand. I stuck it on my finger and I shouted, yes. He said, I didn't even ask you anything yet. I feel kind of bad. I know I ruined a great proposal speech that he had all prepared. So we get married. I graduate from hygiene school. I'm working in a dental office in town, and he's a CPA working in the trust department of a bank. He comes to me and he says, this is not what I want to do with my life. I want to become an investment broker. I said, okay. He said, yeah, but here's the deal. You're going to have to support us for a little while I get my business going. I said, okay. I never hesitated for a second or thought he couldn't do whatever he set his mind to do. I mean, after all, in my eyes, he had won my heart, and I never thought that anyone would do that. So things are going well, and as I've worked as a hygienist, I've quickly figured out that I am a nurturer by nature. I love helping people. I love being part of the health field. For about 2 seconds, I thought, I'm going to go back to school and become a nurse. And then I thought, no, wait. I do not want to wipe people's butts, and I do not want to clean up vomit. I thought, you know what? Instead, what I really want to do is be a mom. I love being a mom. We've been blessed with 2 incredible daughters, 29 and soon to be 22. They're strong, independent women. They stand up for what they believe in. They are fierce when they fight for a goal, and they are determined when they chase a dream, and I couldn't be prouder of both of them. When Natalie asked me to be a part of this event, I said, you don't want me. I'm just a mom. I'm just a wife and hygienist. Nobody special. I haven't achieved anything. I went home that night and I said to my husband and youngest daughter that I'd been asked to speak at a program about empowering women, and while I was so honored, I was baffled as to why she would ask me. They both said, are you kidding us? My husband said, you are the nucleus of this family. He said, without you, things just do not run smoothly. He reminded me of something he's told me before. He said, you know, without your support and encouragement, I probably wouldn't even have become an investment broker, and without your continued support and faith, I wouldn't be the success I am today. Wow, told you all I messed up by not hearing that proposal speech, right? I had always thought I was just being a good wife and partner. It never occurred to me that my actions were worthy of recognition. My daughter said, do you not think Courtney and I are strong, independent women? I said, of course I do. She said, why do you think we're like that, Mom? It's because of you. It's from watching you. It's from all of your help and guidance through the years. It was always my goal that my girls would never think they were less than. I was so intentional about building a strong relationship with each of them so we could talk about anything. I was always very open with them, and I wanted them to know how much they were loved and always supported. I thought all of that came with just being a mom. Listening to my husband and daughter, I realized I had some reflecting to do. I was an only child, and my mom worked second shift at a factory, so I was often home alone to take care of myself. Her and I didn't have the same conversations that I've had with my daughters, but I watched my mom work her butt off to provide for us. From her, I learned the strength and perseverance that I would need to be the mom that I wanted to be. I would never think that what she had to do to raise me was nothing special. And it certainly would never occur to me to say she was just a mom. Now, I'm going to guess most of you would not describe your mothers in that way either. Here's what I figured out upon reflecting and writing my story. When we're living our lives day to day, we're in the trenches, doing our thing, living moment to moment, we don't think about how all of those moments add up into achievements, right? I'll never say again that I'm just a mom or just. or just a wife or a friend or daughter, because the bottom line is that I'm all those things and so much more within them. Those roles are so much more than we give them credit for, and there is no just about it.
There's no just about it.
No, just about it.
Like standing ovation. I promise you that has resonated with so many women that were framing their worth up in that way of just.
And so beautifully spoken. And you were nervous. And, you spent a lot of time practicing and building your confidence. And it was like this evolution of you, kind of like your physical being evolved with the story. There was like this growth, and you grew in your confidence as you were talking through the story. I mean, it was beautiful to watch.
Thank you. I do feel that. And, since that I've gotten up and spoken, I've had two people very close to me pass in my family. And I've gotten up and spoken at both of their funerals. And I thought to myself after the second one, I was like, I would have never, ever done that before I did That's What She Said. And it really was a growth experience. And I'm so jealous of the girls that are getting ready to do it all now, all the ladies. I'm like, oh my gosh, what a journey they're getting ready to travel and walk on. And it's really a beautiful journey that you get to do.
And how fun it's going to be for you to be in the audience this time.
Yes, I am. I'm very excited about it. And I do know one of the ladies. I don't know her, but she is part of the Ronald McDonald House. And our oldest daughter spent the first 12 days in ICU, and we lived in the Ronald McDonald House in Springfield. So that is so near and dear to my heart. So I'm really excited to watch the show next year.
Wow. That is amazing. And for you two to connect over something as important as that. I'm going to call Linda out here too. Here's the beginning of her journey. Why am I in the show? I'm just a mom. I'm just a dental hygienist. And we start this process and we write out the story. And Kerry, you and I both know that we rarely let a speaker play that opening. Well, when I was asked to be in the show,
Yes.
I thought about what my story was going to be. And I even told Linda, you get a pass, because it was important to get her to the end of her story to figure out that there is no just about it. And about halfway through the process, we started talking about the full show, what the vision was for the full show. And as our audience and our listeners know, many shows we love to end with a musical number. And we hadn't figured out what that was going to be yet, or what talents we were dealing with. And Linda stepped up and said, I'm a singer.
Wow.
And that woman, who was almost too nervous to tell her story, not only told her story, was the final storyteller, final speaker, because she led us right into a rendition of Lean on Me.
Oh my gosh. And the crowd goes wild.
The crowd did go wild. It's true.
That song, I had heard it, probably a month or two after now. He had asked me, and I just kept thinking, man, that's what we're talking about, and I would sit in those meetings with everyone. I was like, the song just resonates. That's what we're talking about, being able to lean on each other and being there for each other. And it's so important that, we drive that message home, that women need to be there for each other. So yes, thank you for letting me have that opportunity. And I don't know that I'll ever sing again, but, I did it. And honestly, I'm proud of myself. I kept saying to myself, you can do this, and you're going to be disappointed if you don't do it.
Okay, so I loved how you opened, and I loved the story of your engagement, and I always love, because people say, like, are there any dudes there? And it's like, well, think about your own life. Like, there are dudes that support women all over the place. Of course there are men in the audience. And I loved the way you spoke about your husband and that he was there and so supportive. What was his reaction afterward?
Oh, my goodness. I came down the stairs, and he looked at me, almost with tears in his eyes, and he was like, I am so proud of you. I can't say I love this story, because I had not let him listen to the story. And he was like, yes. I said, hey, it's about our life. There are some things. And he's like, great. I said, I want you to just hear it that night. And he's like, okay, that sounds good, because he is a public speaker. And I wanted to do it on my own, and I wanted my own influences, because he could have completely, helped me right from the beginning. But I was like, no, I want the ladies, and I want it to be, my time and me to find my own way, I guess is the best way to put it.
You sure did.
And so he was just like, I'm so proud of you. That was amazing. And, our girls could not be there, unfortunately, but they both watched it and they're like, Mom, we're so proud of you doing this.
Well, and it's nice sometimes. I think what struck me about it was thinking, if we have that in our head, I'm just a fill in the blank. Your spouse or your kids, they might not, because they see the value and the awesomeness in what you did and what you do. And so it was probably just a little glimpse into like, gosh, I never realized that was even on the table.
Right. I mean, that's what both my girls said. And probably one of my favorite parts of the speech, for me, was when I kind of said, none of us would ever say that about our own mother.
Yep.
And kind of said to the audience, like, would you, as no one in that audience would say that their mother was just a mom. I kind of felt that was a important part to, kind of have people think about that. You're right. I would never say that.
All right, I'm going to propose right here now.
To me?
Yes, Kerry.
I do.
Will you start a movement with me? I just had this vision, and you know what happens when I have visions. But like when there is an important movement or message that we want to get out there, we create a hashtag and we create some momentum. What if we stand up right here, right now, and we create the hashtag, there's no just about it. And what if we can start this message to women everywhere? Stop saying you're just whatever. Own it. Be it. It has value. Whatever that word is you put in the blank, that just takes away your value. And we're here to tell you, look in the mirror. You're freaking awesome, and you can do anything you set your mind to. We all know women. Women get it done. Women are amazing and brilliant and phenomenal. And I just can't say enough good things. But I'm thinking like a hashtag movement here, launching right now. We're going to change the world.
Okay, I'm in.
We're going to change the world. I'm in. I very much, as I said, I want the women coming much younger than me, of course, to say, I am a mom, and I am whatever your occupation is, or I am a daughter, a wife. The just is gone from the language.
I think that the timing of this was perfect because it's been years and years and years that Kerry and I have witnessed women who have this mindset. And Linda, you were the one. You faced it, you took it, you changed it, and we're going to launch a movement in your honor.
Huck yeah.
Ta-da.
Huck yeah.
Huck yeah.
Heck yeah.
This is great. We could that's it. Hashtag Huck yeah.
Best day ever.
Yes. And congratulations to you ladies. What a great, 100th episode and coming up, your 10th year. That's amazing.
It's been quite a ride, but really, we just put a microphone in front of women. There is no shortage of amazing women. We just walk around with a microphone.
Here you go. Here you go.
Here you go.
Tell me you're awesome. Tell me how great you are. Here you go. The truth is, the gratitude goes out to you and the women in your cast and every woman who says yes to. And I'm gonna tell you, there are women who've been asked to me, and that's what she said, and have declined the offer. I take offense for a moment. No, but it's the right person at the right time. It works out every time. But you said yes, and I'm so grateful to every woman who says yes to go through this, because it's a process. It's vulnerable. It's growth. It's outside your comfort zone. But then we have moments like this right here, right now, where you go, this is so much bigger than just this story. This is an opportunity.
Oh,
here.
Absolutely. And the bond you create with the women you're with. I actually said some things in there. It has changed how I speak to other women since I've done it. And I guess I should explain how I open up. It has changed how open I have become with other women since that. Because I have always been more closed off and more reserved and kind of kept whatever's happening or whatever's been in my past to myself and close to the cuff. And since that, I would walk out of those meetings and I would think, boy, I've never talked about that with other women, and again, I'm so thankful that I said yes.
That's amazing. That's amazing that you took that with you. What a gift. My goodness. I'm constantly learning about myself and, from the stories that I hear and the women I get to meet. I'm going to do this till the day I, croak, I think.
I hope.
I'll be directing the show and all right, team.
Red ball, yellow ball.
There's no just
Go
about
where
it.
my team tells you to go. You move over there. You move over here.
Yeah, you stand there. It's going to be amazing. But Linda, I can't thank you enough for even taking some time to spend with us today. I know you're traveling and, you're a super mom and you're supporting your girls. And I'm so grateful that they supported you in this endeavor because, you almost said no. But she mentioned Natalie. Natalie is the producer and in charge over there at the Community Foundation. And I mean, I can see how that woman does not take no for an answer. It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
I'm glad you
Like,
didn't.
I'm still coming back.
Yeah, so we get to do this again. We get to go and hear more stories from the women from Decatur and Macon County and the heart of Illinois because the word is out. That's what she said. It's growing. We are in so many communities, and what I love about the podcast is we get to check in with women, in different cities across the Midwest and soon across the globe, if I have anything to say about it. So, but we can't do what we do without women like Linda, without our partners in crime, Illinois Public Media, and our sponsors, Sterling Wealth Management, Carl, and Health Alliance. I mean, I'm grateful. I'm just grateful. I'm just going to sit here and just thank everybody all day long. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. I'm surrounded by amazing people, and it's a blessing here. So
I almost said blessings all around, and it just sounded so weird. It was
That's
like,
true.
okay, high fives all around. How about that? That's more my style. Butt slaps and high fives all around.
Well, it's a blessing to be a part of. Like I say, if anyone out there listening, if you're asked, I would definitely say don't hesitate, because whatever you think you don't have a story, your life is important and you do have a story, and there's just no just about it. So.
Well said. I don't think I could have ended the episode any better. So that's it from us here at the She Said Project podcast.
Thank you, Linda. Over and out.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the She Said Project podcast in partnership with Illinois Public Media. All materials contained in the podcast are the exclusive property of the She Said Project and That's What She Said, LLC. For more information on our live shows, go to shesaidproject.com. This podcast was made possible with support from Carl and Health Alliance and presented by Sterling Wealth Management, empowering women to live their best lives.